Turns out humans don't have natural defense because already practically. When the Concord xenobiologists first examined Earth's dominant species, they were puzzled. The humans had no claws like the Carath, no venom like the Veyari, no armored hides like the Lutheri. Even the delicate Eleri avians could secrete toxins through their feathers. By comparison, humans were soft, defenseless, declared Dr. Keir, a reptilian scholar, during the Academy Symposium. Evolutionarily speaking, they should have perished millennia ago. The hall rippled with murmurs. But they did not, countered Professor Jailer of the Eleri. They spread. They thrived. They now sit in this very assembly. There must be an explanation. And so began the great investigation into the human paradox. The test of claws and teeth. The first experiment was straightforward. Place a human in a controlled arena with a simulated predator drone. Measure their defensive reflexes. The results baffled the researchers. The predator charged. The human did not deploy spines, or venom, or armored plating. Instead, he dodged. He rolled. He grabbed a loose shard of metal from the floor and jammed it into the drone's sensory eye. The drone collapsed. The human stood panting, weapon in hand. Not defense, Keir hissed. That is tool use. That is externalization. Defense enough, Jailer whispered. The test of venom. The Lutheri proposed a chemical trial. Expose the human to minor toxins, nothing lethal, just irritants that would paralyze most species. The human subjects coughed, sweated, vomited, then recovered. Faster than the scientists could believe. They are not immune, Keir admitted, poring over the charts. They suffer. But they adapt, Jailer said. Their bodies adjust. Their livers, kidneys, cells, everything shifts. It is not natural defense, no, but practical resilience. The word resilience stuck. The cold and the heat. Next came environmental trials. One chamber, freezing to near cryogenic levels. Another, blistering desert heat. The Carath volunteers barely lasted minutes. The Eleri fainted instantly. The humans. They shivered. They sweated. But with improvised clothing from rags, with water rationed, with stubborn willpower, they endured. Not armor, Jailer said softly, watching them huddle together, sharing warmth. Not exoskeleton. Their defense is each other. The Predator's trial. Word spread quickly through the academy. Soon even the warlike species took interest. Put them against us, growled Warlord Kesh, towering over the scientists. Let us see how they fare against a predator of flesh and blood. So, reluctantly, the humans were matched in controlled duels against Carath warriors. No one expected victory. Yet again and again, the humans survived not through brute force, but by trickery, agility, and sheer refusal to yield. They blinded, they tripped, they bit, they clawed with fingernails. One even feigned death, then struck when his opponent turned away. This is dishonorable. Kesh spat. This, Jailer corrected, is survival. The revelation. Finally, the scientists convened for their conclusion. Dr. Keir stood, tail lashing in frustration. We cannot categorize them. They have no natural weapons. No armor. No venom. Nothing. Professor Jailer rose. Her feathers caught the light. That is the point. They have no singular defense because they are already practically everything. Adaptation is their shield. Ingenuity is their armor. Resilience is their venom. Cooperation is their claws. The chamber went silent. They do not need one weapon, she finished. They can become any weapon. That is why they survived. That is why they terrify us. The fallout. The report spread across the Concord. Merchants whispered it in shadow ports. Soldiers repeated it in barracks. Leaders read it with unease. The galaxy had always mocked humans for their fragility, their soft skin and clumsy bodies. But now they understood. Fragility was illusion. Softness was camouflage. Humans had no natural defense, because they had made themselves into living embodiments of defense through adaptability. They could endure famine, weather plagues, resist predators, and outthink enemies. No singular defense was needed. They were walking arsenals of potential. The final proof. Months later, the Concord faced an unexpected crisis. A viral outbreak swept through the border colonies. Karath soldiers collapsed in droves. Lutheri shriveled into translucent husks. Ileri flocks fell silent. But the humans? They staggered, sick, near death. And then they recovered. They brewed crude remedies. They improvised protective gear from rags and sap. They kept moving when others lay still. Once more, the paradox resolved itself. No defenses, but survival anyway. Always survival. When the plague was over, the Concord leaders gathered in hushed awe. Perhaps, Chancellor Vale said reluctantly, it is best we never provoke them fully. For if they are already practically everything, then they will find a way to overcome anything. And for the first time, fear spread not from human weapons, but from the quiet, undeniable truth of their nature. Epilogue. Back on Earth, a human child skinned her knee on a playground. She cried, bled, then got back up and ran again. No claws. No armor. No venom. Just the same thing that had carried her species through endless centuries, resilience. And the galaxy was right to be afraid.